The jarring, almost aggressive tone of the emergency alert ripped through the quiet morning, a digital shriek that felt like a physical assault, making my teeth ache and my pulse jump. My phone, usually a silent, innocuous presence on the coffee table, vibrated violently, the screen flashing that stark, attention-grabbing red. Emergency alert. This message was not sent by the government. Shut off all devices immediately. Repeat. Shut off all devices immediately. Power down all phones, computers, televisions, and radios. Seek shelter and remain silent. This is not a drill. This message was not sent by the government. Shut off all devices immediately. My brain, still pleasantly sluggish from a late night of mindless internet scrolling and even more mindless reality TV, sputtered and stalled, struggling to make sense of the bizarre pronouncement. It sounded wrong, deeply, fundamentally wrong, like a line of code had glitched out in the Matrix, or some prankster had managed to hijack the emergency broadcast system with a particularly tasteless joke. Shut off all devices? In this day and age? It was practically asking people to sever their connection to the world, to willingly walk into sensory deprivation, to become unreachable. And this message was not sent by the government. That was the real kicker. That was the part that sent a cold shiver crawling down my spine despite the otherwise unremarkable warmth of my apartment. I blinked, rubbed the sleep from my eyes, and stared at my phone again, half expecting the message to have morphed into something less overtly threatening. Maybe a weather warning or a traffic update, something, anything, remotely normal. Nope, still there, staring back at me with digital indifference. The same stark, unsettling message repeating in an endless loop, the words burning themselves into my consciousness like a digital brand. This message was not sent by the government. Shut off all devices immediately. It was unnerving. I glanced around my living room, the familiar, slightly cluttered space offering no answers, just a comforting normalcy of worn furniture, stacks of unread books, and the lingering scent of stale coffee from yesterday's pot. Outside, the morning was unfolding in its usual mundane fashion. The sky was a hazy, overcast gray, typical for a late autumn day in the Midwest, promising a day of damp chill and persistent drizzle, the kind of weather that made you want to stay indoors, wrapped in a blanket, ignoring the world outside. A lone car rumbled down the street, its tires hissing on the wet asphalt, the sound echoing faintly in the pre-dawn quiet. A dog barked somewhere in the distance, a muffled, indistinct sound, swallowed up by the heavy, damp air. Everything looked, sounded, felt utterly, stubbornly ordinary. Too ordinary, maybe. The stark contrast between the mundane reality outside my window and the screaming digital warning on my phone was jarring, a discordant note in the otherwise predictable symphony of my life. I took a swig of my lukewarm coffee, the bitter liquid doing little to dispel the sudden chill that settled over me despite the relatively cozy temperature of my apartment. Probably just a hoax, I told myself, desperately clinging to the thread of rationalization. Some kind of internet prank gone viral, a sophisticated phishing scam, designed to what exactly? Panic people? Cause chaos? It didn't really make any logical sense. But then again, neither did reality fluctuations or avoid mirrors or the dead returning. All the other bizarre emergency alerts I'd seen floating around online lately, dismissed as hoaxes, as creepypasta, as internet urban legends. But this one felt different. More immediate, more directed, more real. I shook my head, trying to dislodge the unsettling thought. No need to get all paranoid over a silly alert. I was probably just tired, letting my imagination run wild, as usual. It's what I did best. After all, overthink, overanalyze, and generally worry about things that were statistically improbable at best. It was a talent of sorts, if a thoroughly useless and often anxiety-inducing one. Still, that this message was not sent by the government part, it kept nagging at me, a tiny, insidious worry worming its way into my brain. Why specify that? Why go out of their way to disavow official origin? Unless it was true. Unless it really wasn't from the government. Unless it was from someone else. Something else. Something unknown. I shuddered, pushing the unsettling thought away, trying to focus on something anything more rational, more mundane. I decided to turn on the TV, see if there were any actual news reports about this non-governmental emergency alert, or it was just my phone glitching out, being its usual unreliable, technologically inept self. Flipping through the channels with the remote, I landed on CNN, the default news channel, the one I usually left on in the background while I went about my day. And there it was, the same red and white emergency banner, plastered across the bottom of the screen, interrupting the usual Saturday morning news roundup and political punditry. The anchor, a woman named Brianna, usually unflappable and composed, was sitting stiffly behind her news desk, her perfectly coiffed hair and practiced smile now visibly strained, her eyes wide with forced, almost unnatural calm. "We interrupt this program for an important emergency bulletin," she announced, her voice tight, lacking its usual smooth, professional cadence. We are receiving reports of unusual emergency alert broadcasts across multiple platforms. These alerts are claiming to be non-governmental in origin and are instructing citizens to shut off all electronic devices. Authorities are investigating the source and veracity of these alerts. In the meantime, citizens are advised to exercise caution and to verify information through official government channels only. Repeat, verify information through official government channels only. Do not follow instructions from unofficial sources. This is a developing situation, and we will continue to provide updates as they become available. Non-governmental, unofficial sources, do not follow instructions from unofficial sources. She was actually saying it on live TV in that same strained, almost hesitant tone, like she herself wasn't entirely sure what she was saying or didn't quite believe it. It wasn't a prank. It wasn't a mistake. This was real. Something was actually happening. And it was serious enough to interrupt Saturday morning TV and put that forced, strained look on a seasoned news anchor's face. Verify information through official government channels only, she repeated, the words echoing in the suddenly silent living room, hanging in the air like a warning, a desperate attempt to cling to some semblance of order in the face of growing chaos. Official government channels only. But what if the official channels were compromised? What if they were no longer reliable? What if the very warning to trust only official sources was itself part of the problem? My gaze drifted involuntarily to the TV screen, then to my phone, then to the laptop sitting on the coffee table, suddenly feeling like potential sources of danger, conduits to something unknown and potentially hostile. I grabbed my phone again, opening Twitter, hoping for some kind of explanation, some context beyond the cryptic warnings and the increasingly unsettling news reports. My feed was, predictably, a chaotic storm of speculation, misinformation, and outright panic. Hashtag non-government alert. Hashtag shut off devices. Hashtag emergency broadcast. The hashtags were trending, and the posts were coming in a frantic torrent of questions, rumors, and increasingly bizarre claims. Screenshots of the emergency alert were everywhere, interspersed with panic pleas for information, nervous jokes that fell flat, and inevitable conspiracy theories, government false flag operation, cyber attack, some kind of alien communication, a mass psychological experiment gone horribly wrong. People were reporting things, strange experiences, flickering screens, distorted voices, static on the devices even when they were turned off, feelings of unease, paranoia, and a growing sense of dread. Some were dismissing it as mass hysteria, collective anxiety amplified by social media. Others were claiming to have heard something distinct, something coherent, something that was not just static or garble, but a message. And the descriptions, they were unsettlingly vague, disturbingly contradictory. Some described it as a voice, others as music, others as a feeling, a presence, a command. But all agreed on one thing. It was wrong. Deeply, fundamentally wrong. And the warnings were spreading just as fast as the fear. Shut off your devices. Do not listen. Do not engage. It will take you. It will change you. It is not meant for you. My stomach churned with a growing sense of dread, my mind struggling to reconcile the mundane reality of my apartment with the escalating chaos unfolding online, the whispers of dangerous, non-governmental emergency alert, and the chilling warnings to shut off all devices permeating the digital airwaves. And then I saw it, a tweet buried deep in the frantic stream from an account with an unsettlingly cryptic username. At the silent switch, they are telling you to trust the government. It read, stark and chillingly direct. Do not. They are compromised. The alert is real. Shut off everything. Silence is safety. Listen to nothing. They are compromised. The alert is real. Listen to nothing. Who was they? And who was compromised? The government? The news? Everyone? And what was this alert actually warning us about? What was this thing that could compromise entire institutions, that could hijack the emergency broadcast system, that could spread through our devices, through our screens, through our ears? The tweet was cryptic, paranoid, almost nonsensical, but it resonated with the primal fear that was already gnawing at me, the deep-seated unease that had taken root since the emergency alert first blared. It was just a random tweet from an anonymous account, probably just some internet troll trying to stir up trouble, preying on a growing fear and confusion. But in the current climate of fear and uncertainty, it felt different, ominous, like a desperate warning whispered from the edge of the abyss. My phone buzzed again, another emergency alert. Emergency alert update. All official government broadcasts are temporarily suspended due to technical difficulties. Citizens are advised to remain calm and await further instructions. Repeat, official broadcasts are temporarily suspended. Do not panic. This is a precautionary measure only. Verify information through alternate sources, if available. All official government broadcasts temporarily suspended. Technical difficulties. Alternate sources, if available. That was a catastrophic escalation. And alternate sources, if available. What alternate sources? The internet was a chaotic mess of misinformation and panic. Social media was a breeding ground for conspiracy theories and fear-mongering. And the official government broadcasts, the supposed bastions of truth and order, were now silent, gone dark, offline, leaving us utterly adrift, cut off from any reliable source of information, trapped in a digital void, with nothing but cryptic warnings and a growing sense of impending doom. I went to the TV again, switching channels frantically, hoping for some last-minute news, some real explanation before the broadcast silence became absolute, before the digital world went completely dark. CNN was now just static. The emergency banner gone, the anchor's strained face replaced by a swirling gray snow, punctuated by the low hiss of white noise. Channel 4, same. Channel 7, ditto. Every channel, every station silent, blank, dead. The airwaves had gone dark, completely, utterly, irrevocably silent. The silence in my living room was deafening now, broken only by the low hum of the refrigerator and the increasingly frantic thumping of my own pulse. I felt utterly isolated, cut off from the outside world, trapped in a bubble of digital silence and manufactured fear, surrounded by devices that were now useless, inert, potential sources of unknown danger, potential conduits to something else. And then I heard it, or rather, I didn't hear it with my ears, but I felt it, a subtle shift in the silence, a presence, not a sound, not a voice, not anything audible, but a feeling, a sense of something else in the room, something listening, something watching, something waiting. It was faint at first, almost subliminal, a whisper in the silence, a fleeting impression, a trick of the mind, a product of my own growing paranoia. But it persisted. It intensified. It became more distinct, more defined, more real. The feeling of being watched grew stronger, more oppressive, a suffocating weight of unseen eyes pressing down on me from all sides. And then the thought, not a voice, not a whisper, not even a sound, but a thought planted directly into my mind, bypassing my ears, my senses, my conscious will, a thought that was not my own but somehow familiar, a thought that was compelling. Listen. The thought was clear, distinct, undeniable, echoing in the silence of my mind, a single insistent command. Listen. Listen to what? Listen to the silence? Listen to the hum of the refrigerator? Listen to the frantic pounding of my own heart? Listen to us. The thought repeated, now a chorus of thoughts, layered, harmonious, overwhelming, flooding my mind, drowning out my doubts, erasing my fears, replacing my anxiety with a strange, unsettling curiosity. We have a message for you. A message? What message? A message from whom? From what? From everywhere. The thoughts whispered, now from all directions, from all corners of my mind, surrounding me, enveloping me, becoming indistinguishable from my own consciousness. We are the silence. We are the darkness. We are the transmission. The transmission? The unidentified transmission? The one we were warned not to listen to? The one that was not sent by the government? The one that could compromise? Yes, the thoughts confirmed, a chilling, undeniable affirmation. Listen to us. Open your mind. Let us in. Open my mind. Let them in. Let what in? Fear war with curiosity. Terror battle with fascination. The desperate urge to resist fought against the insidious pull of the unknown, the irresistible allure of the forbidden. Shut off all devices immediately. The emergency alert echoed in my mind, a desperate warning, a last vestige of rationality clinging to the edges of my sanity. Shut off all devices. Do not listen. But the thoughts were stronger now, more insistent, more alluring, drowning out the warnings, silencing the doubts, promising something. Something beyond fear, beyond understanding, beyond myself. And as the thoughts intensified, as the chorus of voices grew louder, as the silence deepened, I felt myself changing, shifting, becoming something else, something more, something other. And in that moment, as the unidentified transmission consumed me, as the real world faded away, as the thoughts became my own voice, I understood. The emergency alert was right. This message was not sent by the government. It was sent by something else, something that was now inside me. If you felt a chill run down your spine as the silence deepened and the thoughts began to whisper, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Your support allows me to delve deeper into the unsettling realm of the unseen and unheard and bring you more tales from the edge of the digital abyss. Hit that notification bell to ensure you never miss a new transmission from the darkness. Thank you for listening. And remember, sometimes the most dangerous messages are not the ones we see flashing on our screens, but the ones that whisper silently in the spaces between our thoughts.